Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool pinball repair video for you. It looks like we've been doing tons of pinballs lately. We've been fixing stuff all over the building. We've got even more that we've been working on that you don't even know about yet. But we had a customer bring us their Bally Freedom. Now, you may have seen us work on another customer's Bally Freedom back in the day a little bit. We did a whole series on these. And someone watched that, and they had the same machine and were having issues with it and decided to bring it to us and have us fix it. The thing's in pretty good shape, but it just has a few little issues that pop up. And so what they want us to do is go through it and get it reliable where it works and they don't have a bunch of issues with it. So that's what we're going to do in this little series of videos. We'll probably go a little quicker on this one, though, because a lot of the stuff, the cosmetic stuff and things, we don't really have to do because the customer has already done them. So let's check it out, shall we? Now, on the last one we did, this is, one of the last Bally EMs, and I believe this one they even made a solid state, so it was right there at the end of them making EMs. So the thing has a lot going on. Pretty cool game. Let's check out the condition of the cabinet. It's a little bit faded. He was telling me when he dropped it off that it was actually in much worse shape, and he's cleaned it all up. So this is after he cleaned it. It had just it was real yellowed and had a lot of age on it, but he's got it looking pretty decent. Faded, a little scratched up, but most of the artwork is intact. The front looks pretty good. Something, there must have been a sticker or something on the coin door at some point, but the door is pretty straight. And then this side also decent. The serial number, I think, says 5662 over there. No, 5562, because this one says the same thing. 5562. Somebody was asking us about that, if we didn't mind, and we don't. If we didn't mind, maybe showing the serial numbers whenever we do stuff, because I think there's a database of them. So, here's his game. He said that the Playfield before had a lot of wear on it. He cleaned it and waxed it and waxed it, and he touched it up a little bit. I know a few of the places he touched up. I won't mention them to you, and we'll see if anybody can find them. But all in all, the Playfield's in pretty nice shape. Now, the plastics all look fine, and he has chose to go with these cool blue rubber rings that they make now. They make, there's a lot of pinball stuff that's a little different than it used to be, and so they now make colored rubber rings. Now, I believe, I may be wrong about this, but I believe they actually did that way back in the day, too, like in the 50s. I think they made colored rings for a little while. I believe I remember seeing some of those. Now, I wasn't around in the 50s. I mean, what was left of some of those years later. But, I just saw something weird. We're going to investigate. But yeah, he's put blue rings on everything, and to be honest, it looks great. I love it. If you've watched my videos before, I don't do much mods. I don't do much in the way of modding. But mods like this are harmless. There's nothing wrong with, like the most famous one is I never put LEDs in anything. There's nothing wrong with putting LEDs in them. I just personally don't like the look of it. But you can put them in. It doesn't hurt anything, because like if I end up with a game, I can take them out and throw them in the trash. Right? So these rings are the same thing. They're not hurting anything, and I actually do like the way these look. But mods like that are really cool. It's nice to just give it a little different look if that's what you want. He's also rebuilt the 3 pop bumpers with all new stuff. So what I was just looking at is, we've got the glass on it. We'll take it off here in a little bit. This one pop bumper, look at that dome right in the middle of it. The bulb's too high or too hot or something. Those look fine, but that one, look at that. The bulb is melted a little bit. That's a shame. But just like on our other one, I don't think any of the plastics were broke because they're real thick. And these are the original ones. You can kind of tell just because they're a little yellowed from age. But they're really thick plastics. We have this Knight Rider here that we're eventually going to work on. The reason we haven't worked on this yet, everybody keeps asking about it. It's because we just got a bunch of games for repair that we've gotten in for customers. So we work on customer stuff first before we work on our own stuff. This is one of ours. I put sold on it just because we've got about 4 people's names on it. So we've had a couple people email. We had a couple people coming in wanting us to notify them whenever it becomes available. So it's probably already sold. But this was made around the same time as that one. And if you notice on the plastics, they're nice and thick. So it's the same thing. Another thing about this one, if you look, that dust that's on it, see how dusty it looks? That actually protects it. That's its protective coating. But yeah, this one's in nice shape. The plastics look good. Got a little bit of wear on the Playfield, just, you know, because it has such a light colored Playfield. We ran into that on the one that we were working on. So let me see if I can find any of the touch-ups. Yeah, so the red has been touched up here. The ball shoots out, bam, and lands there, and you can see it's been touched up a little bit, but looks pretty good. It also has new drop targets. Those look great. Nice clean little machine, really. Let's look at the back box, shall we? So it's in, I would say, about the same shape as the last one we messed with. Maybe a little bit worse. Got a little bit of wear on the guys. So it's in a little bit different places than it was on the last one that we had. And someone's touched it up a little bit. See that kind of pink look? I don't know what's going on there, but there it is. But, you know, presentable enough, in my opinion. If you wanted to get cray-cray, I guess you could buy a brand new back glass, but I don't think I would. Okay, so looks pretty good. Let's take the glass off, and then we'll pop up the Playfield and see what it looks like underneath. See if we're in for any surprises. Okay, so I took the glass off, and the first thing that I noticed is that the apron hangers are missing. I mean, the Playfield hangers. There's like some little hooks that go here that attach to the Playfield to hold it in the right spot. So, same Knight Rider, made by Bally around the same exact time. You see them here. So these should be attached to the front of the Playfield on the apron. Now, since there's rails in there, I guess it's not the end of the world if they're not there. I never thought about why those wouldn't be there. But the whole Playfield should be back in the cabinet just a little bit. Now, where that would give you problems is with the shooter rod. So I wonder if he had shooter rod problems because of that. That may be a thing. Yeah, he has. So look at this. So I haven't messed with this one at all. This is the Knight Rider. See how the shooter gauge is, and how there are these little metal pieces that you can bend in and out, and they adjust where the ball sits in the shooter lane, right? And the purpose of that is so that you can hit it well with the shooter rod. Now, again, I haven't even messed with this one, so it might be all messed up too. Usually you don't even have to adjust those. You just leave it how it is. But on this one, they've been adjusted way out. See how they're sticking way out? So the reason for that is because the shooter rod is in a fixed position. And if this Playfield is too far this way, when the ball comes out, the ball is going to be too far on the shooter rod. Right? The shooter rod's going to stick out of that too far. And so they've bent the metal up to push the ball forward a little bit. That'll work, but the problem is that the hooks are gone. So let me pop that up, and we'll see what if we can tell why the hooks are gone. So with it sitting like this, if I just push it forward, I should be able to get it back where it basically should be. So if the hooks were in there, that's where it would land. And then you see that those are adjusting out too far that way. So So yeah, they're just unbolted. That's weird. I don't know why that would be. Because they never get messed up or anything. I don't know why someone would do that. Well, I think we'll have to fix that. That's something to fix. Okay, so looking at the bottom of the Playfield, I see a pop bumper cap's been replaced. I mean, a pop bumper solenoid's been replaced. And again, remember, all three of those were rebuilt, so that particular one has new nuts on the pop bumper ring. Everything looks good down in there. Here in the back of the cabinet, everything looks good. I'm just looking at the relays to see if I see a coil that looks slap burnt up or anything. Now the lock relay does look a little charred as usual. Again, not that big of a deal. On a lock relay, it's on the whole time the game is on, so they heat up. In your house, it's not that big of a deal, but long term, sometimes it'll die. But if it does, the whole thing stops working, so you can figure out pretty quick that your lock relay probably burned up. Everything over here looks good. Now we figured out on our previous one, this is the over the top buzzer. Whenever you get over 100,000 points, it makes this loud noise. It's really cool. It's super cool, people. We're going to do it later. It's really cool. You'll love it. And then the tilt bob, it looks like someone's cleaned. They've cleaned the tilt bob. It must have not been tilt bobbing. Boy, that's the shiniest tilt I think I've ever seen. So that no doubt works fine. People have asked us about tilt mechs on tons of videos. People are obsessed with the tilt mechanism. I don't know why. But I didn't play a ton of pinball back in the day, so I just probably don't get it. But people ask us about it all the time. This is the tilt mechanism on this particular game. Now there is a pinball here for one type of tilt. So if you were to pick up the whole front of the cabinet, that ball would roll to the back. I wonder if I can do it with one hand. Maybe I can. Anything for a video. Too close to the wall, people. Don't tell the management here. If I were to pick up the front of the cabinet, when that gets to the end, it hits that switch, and then the metal of the pinball connects that switch, the wire on that switch, to the wire on this runway here. You know, it's like something on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. When the ball rolls all the way to the end, it's now hitting the switch and this, and so that resets the delay relay or whatever it is, the tilt, whatever. And then this one works the same way, kind of. Let me brighten it up so you can see it better. Okay. So the same wire that is connected to the switch is also connected to this metal plate, which is connected to this plumb bob. Okay, and the same wire that is connected to this ring is connected to this. If those wires touch, the game tilts. So if you wiggle it, this touches that and it tilts. So they have one tilt switch if you pick it up and one tilt switch if you wiggle it. Now that one should hit if you pick it up, but whatever. They were very concerned about this, okay? Now down here is yet another one. This is a lot of times they call this a slam switch. If you hit the thing hard enough, the switch will move up and connect to that switch, click, and does the same thing. Alright, so that's how the tilt worked. Now, sometimes whenever you have a game and it has a more loose tilt than other games, it's because this graduated tilt bob here has been lowered. So as you lower it, it's graduated. So once you get up here to the top of the cone, you really have to move it for it to hit the side. If I was to move this up, I could get it where you just barely have to move it for that to hit the side. So it's an adjustment. So that's how your tilt works. And people, a guy asked me just the other day if we ever fix those. Usually customers for their house, they don't care about the tilt much. If they do though, if they mention it, we'll fix it. Or if we see that it's obviously messed up, we'll fix it. So here's another slam switch on the coin door. So if you kick the coin door, it'll tilt it too. And whenever you kick it, it might not be enough to move the ball or move the plumb switch, plumb bob. So that's that. Now, what is this? Oh, that's another one. There's one on the Playfield. Maybe if you hit the glass too hard, it'll do it. There's usually one in the back box too. So I mean, they were scared to death somebody was going to tilt the freaking game. They didn't want you beating up the game, people. So if you were one that you were always getting the tilts, look how hard you must have been hitting it. Come on, people. All right, so everything looks pretty cool. If you look here, see these plugs on the right side? Well, that's where the relays would have been to take, this one says 2 coins, 3 plays, blah, 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 blah. So these were the coin relays. So they have completely removed those from the game. The operator probably did that whenever he sold it. So operators were terrified. One, that people would tilt the game, obviously. And two, that if they sold a game, that somebody would become their competition. So somebody'd come in and say, hey, I'd like to buy one of your pinball machines to put in my den. And the old wily operator would say, oh, I'll sell you one, buddy, but I'm going to remove the coin relays. You're not going to have a working coin door on that game. There's no way you can put it out on location and make any money off of it. You know, so that's just how they thought. I worked for an operator in the mid 2000s. He was a great guy. He was the same way. That he wasn't going to freaking sell a game for home use unless everything was removed out of it. So he sold some jukeboxes and had us take everything out of them that handled the coin operation and the bill acceptance and all of that stuff, because he didn't want somebody operating it. And it's just old school mentality. It's how they thought, you know. So that is the thing. Now some of the places, they would take everything off the back of the coin door. On this one, they've taken the coin mechs out, but that's no big deal. You can put those back in. So they've probably got it set on free play on the replay unit in the back. But we'll check that out whenever we get to it. There's another switch on the bottom, yet another slam switch in case you kick the bottom of the game. Don't tilt the game, people. So everything looks pretty cool. I see a screw laying down there next to the slam switch. That's no big deal. There's a little rubber ring laying here. That's part of this thing on the chime. You know. So these chimes probably don't sound that great. They're a little wobbly. If the chime gets where the metal bar hits the metal plate under it, they sound real slappy. Let's see if I got something I can hit it with. Is there anything we can slap the chime with? A little tiny screwdriver. Whoop. Do it from this side. That don't sound that great, people. Okay, so the reason that the Playfield was able to sit in there without those front hangers is because it's sitting on these rails. And so those hangers, all they're really going to do is keep it the proper distance this way or that way. That's pretty much what they're for. Okay, so everything looks pretty good. I don't see any major problems at all. Just little minor stuff. Stuff that needs to be cleaned, I'm sure. No issues. So let's look in the back box and see what it looks like back there. Alright, so it's got a nice new wooden coin door on it. A lot of times the original not coin door, back door. A lot of times the original back door would be lost because it's a metal door and it just comes off real easy and it disappears. So you can buy replacement ones if you really look around, but it's a lot easier to just make one out of wood. It does change the way they sound slightly, because usually it's resonating in here with metal. You put the wood door on, now it's resonating with wood. It just sounds a little bit different. But no big deal. We make wood ones for them too, whenever they're missing, because we don't have I don't know anybody local that bends metal. But it can be done. Okay, so here's our back box. This is the knocker. It's on the back box on this one. We just won a free game. 16 score reels. Is this one of the ones with 2 dummy reels or just one? Oh, just one. Real, dummy reel. That's a fake reel. So you can't ever get 0 points. It's stuck on, 1 point. It's stuck on 0 points. Here are the Jones plug connectors for the bottom. That all looks good. Here's the big old replay credit unit. Bally called it, replay unit. I think Williams and Gottlieb called it. Okay, so yeah, so this would be where the free play is. Let's see if it has been free played. Let's see, which way does it go? That's the one that adds a credit. So this is the one that takes away a credit. When it gets down to 0, yeah, it's still, basically they've bent the switches so that they never open when it gets to 0, which puts it on free play. So that's cool. Here is the match unit. Looks like it's all right. These are the 100,000 point over the top relays. So basically the score can only go up to 99,999. And then when you get, no, 99,990, because the last one's a dummy one. And then when you get 10 more points, it goes to, you get 10 more points, it goes to 100,000. But all of the scores reset to 0, and the 100,000 over the top comes on, and it turns on a light on the front that says 100,000. And then it starts counting some more. Now, if you get to 199,990 points, and you get 10 more points, it resets to 100,000. So that's what you're going for if you're trying to be a completist. You know, if you're trying to like do everything that can be done, that's all that can be done. There's the player unit, extra credit, extra ball. That's the little selection. So basically, when you win a free game, do you win a free credit or a free ball? You can adjust that. The match adjustment is an on or off. So at the end of the game, it shows 2 little numbers on the back glass, and if your last 2 numbers on your score match that number, and the match feature is turned on, you win a free game or a free ball, whatever they've got it set on. Everything looks real good, nice and clean. The wires look pretty good where you can actually tell what color they are. Like that is a white wire with an orange trace, and it's easy to see that that's what that is. A lot of times, if they haven't had the back door on them in a while, especially the older ones that have the cloth covered wires, all the wires will be the exact same color of gray. That'll be like this brownish gray, and you can't hardly tell what they are. But all of these are, more modern vinyl covered, or I guess it's vinyl wires, that plastic covered, that you can tell what color they are. Okay, so everything looks cool. Now, the customer told us that basically what happens is when he starts playing it, the ball, it'll come out and it'll do its thing, but the ball will get stuck in the saucers or something, or I can't remember what he said, or it goes into the out hole and then he has to put a ball in the saucer and it'll make it start. And he was showing us that he had a little thing rigged up. He had a ball on a stick. Very ingenious idea. And he would put the ball and a stick in there, and when he touched that button, it would start running again and do its thing. So I think what we'll do is we'll turn this sucker on and play it a little bit and just see if we can get it to mess up, or if it's already messed up or what. Because he said it was kind of intermittent. Sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. So maybe we'll play it a little bit just to get an idea of what's going on, and then we'll go from there. Another thing I want to show you on the Playfield, if you let the light hit it, see how that looks? The reason it's like that is someone has filled in the inserts. They were cupped. Someone has filled them in with something like super glue, or what's the other thing you can use? There's something else you can use. But basically you drip it in the insert and it fills in the low area, and it's kind of self-leveling. You can do it with super glue, and they may do it with clear coat paint or something. I don't know what they do it with, but I don't usually do it. But somebody has done that, and that's why that looks like that. And it gets the inserts where they're a little more level, but I don't mind them being not level, so I never do it. So you can see it pretty good there. I just leave them cupped whenever I do it. People ask about that all the time too, but that's my opinion. Okay, folks, so we're going to do this one a little different than we usually do them. Usually, whenever I'm working on an old EM, I just take it all the way apart and start fixing it and cleaning everything and go through it. But on this one, what I'm going to do is we're going to try to play it first and just see what we can get it to do, and then we're going to go all through it, and then we'll see what it does at the end. At the end, it should play great. Hopefully. That's where we're headed towards, right? And the reason we're going to do that is because the customer had it, and it was playing. So it was kind of playing, it just wasn't playing right. So we're going to see if we can document that a little bit, and then see if we can get it better by the end by cleaning through everything. So maybe we'll do this, and then we'll go through and we'll try to kind of, instead of troubleshooting, we'll do like I usually do. If you haven't seen our other videos, basically I go through and I clean everything. Rebuild all the stepper units, all of the switches, all of the relays, all of the score reels and all that. And we'll see if I can just get it working better just by doing that, or if it's going to need me to track stuff down. I don't know. We'll see. So I've got it plugged in. I went through and I mechanically, put all of the score reels on the number 1. Now, why would I do that? It's because when we start the game, I want to see if they all reset back to 0. So at the end of each game, or I mean the beginning of each game, everything should reset back to 0. If this if this reel will not reset back to 0, the game will never start. So that's a really common problem that people have in these. So we'll see if everything resets back fine. We'll see what happens on the Playfield, and there is a ball in the outhole. I also had the Playfield down where it was when we got it, which is too far down, without those hangers. And we'll just see how it plays, or if it plays, and what happens. So I've got it plugged in. Let's turn it on and see if anything happens. Alright, so we got all of our lights on the back box. Back glass, you know, is showing some wear, but everything's cool. Playfield is lit up beautifully. Looks fantastic. Okay, so right here at the beginning, I think what I'll do is I'm going to take this cap off, because, man, that thing, something made that bump up. So I just want to look and see if it may be something they've already fixed, but I want to look at that bulb and see what's going on there. They may have LEDs in there now. They look super bright and nice. So let me pop that cap off first, just to make sure we don't make that any worse. Okay, so here's what we've got going on. This one I've taken loose too, and if you notice, when you push it down, it kind of pops back up. That's because it's making it's touching the bulb. And the bulb is, whenever you push it, you're pushing the bulb down. This one's the same way. Alright, so basically what's going on, if I put this cap on here for a second, it's just higher. Right? So the problem is the bulb is just sticking up so high that it's actually touching the plastic. And on this particular one, it's melted it. I don't know if that bulb did it, though. It may have been they had a different bulb or something, but whenever I put that on there, that bulb ends up right where that thing's slightly melted. So I'm going to try to bend the hell out of that and get it where it's farther down in there where it doesn't actually touch the cap. Hopefully that'll help it a little bit. Okay, folks, so down under the Playfield, I was able to bend the leads to where they're tighter to the Playfield, and then I was able to bend this where it comes out of the holes and then actually goes down, so the socket is a little lower than the things that it pops out of, and it made it where it sits much lower in the pop bumper, so that'll help. Let's see if if it still bounces up and down. Do the red one still. See, now it fits, and it's not actually touching the bulb. So I'll check that one too, but that'll help it from burning. So I wanted to take care of that before it got worse while we're testing it, but let's test it out. Okay, folks, so hopefully that'll help those. All right, so we're going to hit the start button and see. What it should do is reset all those to 0. It may reset this, I don't know. It may just stay where it is. The bonus isn't lit up, but maybe it should reset to 0 if it's not already, and it should eventually kick the ball out. It will probably stay where it says ball and play 1, obviously. So let's see what happens. Oh, it's already in a game. Nope. It changed to 3 can play, so it's like it's got a 3-player game started. Yeah, it's kind of just crashed. So if I hit it again, 4 can play. The ball's just in the out hole. Everything's dead. Wasn't he saying, though, that you could get it to do it by... Yeah, so it's just, it ain't doing nothing. Well, that's what we're starting with, so we got major issues. All right, folks, so that's where we're starting. Leave your comments below. Tell us what you think. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. A little intro video of what it's doing and what we're going to fix for this gentleman. We'd like to thank everybody that's been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, there's a link down below to Amazon. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, if you use our link, it gives us a tip. So thanks to everybody that's been doing that. We also have on our website prices, pictures, and descriptions of all of our games that we have available for sale right now. Arcade games, pinball machines. So even if you're looking at this years later, we always keep it up to date. Go to lionsarcade.com and you can check that out. I just noticed that the wheel in the middle matches my dartboards on the wall. Wow, man. This place is starting to look awesome. So go check out our website, lionsarcade.com. And not lion like the animal, lions like me. Lyons, lionsarcade.com. Go check that out. And we have a parts page on there with some of the stuff that we use in our repairs and stuff. We also have t-shirts and stuff like that on there if you want to support the channel. Thank you to everybody that's been doing that. And finally, last but not least, check out my brother Donnie. If you like watching us work on these old pinball machines, you would probably like us watching us work on old buildings. So we have a couple buildings that we have bought near here in a small town in the downtown area that we are fixing up, my brother Donnie and I. He's crazier than I am. So if you enjoy my genius banter, you would enjoy his even more. So go check it out, the My Brother Donnie channel, and I'll see you over there. So next time we'll start cleaning this sucker. And by cleaning, not cosmetic, the stuff down under, you know, that makes it do its thing and makes the game start and the ball kick out and all of that. So we'll see you on the next video.